Hey, everybody. I think I'm live. Nice to see you. Okay, this is going to be super brief because I have a client coming in. I actually put an alarm on my phone. Just let's make sure. No, I didn't set it. Just want to make sure I don't get myself in trouble. Anyways, I had a session yesterday with a client, and the theme of that session was all around peace. And I went hunting for one of my favorite quotes that I have by this sage called Husin, who's this old Japanese sage, I believe. And this is what Husin said: "What is called peace by many is merely the absence of disturbance. True peace cannot be disturbed. It resides beyond the reach of disturbance. What is called peace by many is merely the absence of disturbance. True peace cannot be disturbed. It resides beyond the reach of disturbance." For a real long time, my work was literally about peace, whether it was in my spiritual work or the work I did with clients as a therapist. Everything was about peace. And just to prove this to you, I don't know if you can see that it's from all the way over there, but I wrote this book. This book is like 15, 16 years old. And as you can see, it says, "Beyond the Storm, a guide to emotional freedom and a peace that is always already here." Now, I don't particularly recommend you read this thing. It's kind of a deep metaphysical journey into the nature of peace. And it's pretty dense. And it might be more metaphysical, more spiritual than those of you who really value the nervous system piece of this work would enjoy. For me, the nervous system work came after that book, and it was almost like putting everything I had learned from my own awakening, my own deep spiritual journey, with my journey as a therapist and my journey into embodiment, and literally creating a body of work that was deeply grounded in neurology, as well as identity, as well as spirituality, and could help my clients, even if they weren't particularly spiritual at all, really ground into an unwavering, unshakable core of peace. And so I want to kind of talk briefly about the kind of peace I'm talking about, and essentially the kind of peace that I'm inviting you to attune to tap into. A lot of the work I do is around money and expansion of our visibility, expansion of our reach, ability to take our work out into the world, expansion of how many people we work with, all of that. Most people want more money to experience peace and freedom. For me, I flip the process on its head. With the work I do with clients, it's actually about giving them a direct access to peace and freedom. And when we are in direct access with our own internal well of peace and freedom, our capacity increases. And when our capacity increases, we basically start to have a depth of clarity, a depth of confidence in ourselves, in the work we do, in the price we charge, in even a depth of clarity, confidence, and even safety in being seen in our bigness, in that level of confidence. And that's actually when making more money becomes seamless. And that's what people don't get. They think that when they have the money, they will feel more peace. No, it's when you anchor and root and ground yourself in peace that you will be able to essentially rise and expand, and not only create but have the capacity to hold, to receive and to hold the results and the money that you want to make. So the kind of peace that is created through nervous system expansion work and regulation work, but also the expansion piece, essentially is about making everything that feels unsafe, dangerous, start to feel safe. And everything that feels overwhelming in our lives, in our business, start to feel like it's no big deal. That's the capacity work. Where like everything that you're looking at right now that feels a little unsafe, feels a little uncomfortable, feels like it would be heavy or a lot to hold, suddenly all of it starts to feel like no big deal. And when that happens, it starts to anchor in you a sort of trust, both trust in yourself, trust in life and the support that's available, trust in the work that you do and your journey, trust in your process. And that trust literally gives you access to a deeper knowing, a deeper sense of certainty that cannot be swayed by external circumstances. And so now we start to come into the peace that passes understanding, the peace that is literally unconditional. It is not conditioned on outside circumstance. It's not conditioned on a sales call going our way. It's not conditioned on our launch being successful or getting as many sales as we want. It's not conditioned on our kids behaving a certain way or things going a certain way in our dating life or in our marriage. It's literally a peace that is our ground. We're rooted in it. We're anchored in it. When you start to really anchor that sense of trust, which merge into that peace, that's when you start to feel really free. And what happens is that that level of trust and peace will start to create a sense of feeling extremely safe to be you. You're going to start to feel so safe being yourself, being self-expressed, taking space, that nothing can start to shake that calm confidence and that conviction. You start to no longer doubt yourself, your capability as well as your capacity to create and hold what you want. And by extension, when you're feeling that safe being yourself and being here in the world and sharing your bigness, sharing your brilliance, sharing your gifts, and you have that sense of capacity and capability, you're going to find a lot more ease in moving forward to doing big things. Essentially, raising your rates, starting to share the kind of work that you want to share, asking for what you need and what you want, both in your professional life, but in your personal life. Getting that promotion if you're in corporate, being able to actually feel worthy of what you desire and not feel shame or guilt for going after it. So the kind of peace I'm talking about, because it is unconditioned, it's unshakable. It's complete unto itself. And everything flows out of it effortlessly, rather than needing things externally to complete it. So whereas before, the way most of us are wired is we need things externally to flow into our life in a certain way for us to feel peace, this kind of peace is always already here. It's unshakable. It's the root of our being, and it allows everything to rise out of us. So we root in peace, and then everything arises out of us. It's the kind of peace that will literally allow you to turn turmoil into that level of trust I was talking about, to turn any kind of resistance or procrastination that you have into resilience and into flow and pleasure. And any level of drain or exhaustion will start to shift into inspiration and expansion. And so this is literally the aim of the work. The aim of the work is not to make more money, although that's a happy ripple. it happens. The aim of the work is to get so deeply grounded into this peace, into this space of feeling centered, that finding your way, growing your business, essentially like growing your life, your relationships, your leadership, your receivership becomes simple, sustainable, and deeply satisfying. In my experience, when you move from that place of peace, from that place of simplicity, the outcome is always really sweet. Because from that level of rootedness in peace, everything that arises out of you cannot be disturbed. It cannot be disturbed by life. It cannot be disturbed by your partner, by your kids, by friends or family members' drama. You are so anchored in it that you become the stillness in the storm, so to speak. And when that happens, honestly, one, you build, if you're an entrepreneur, you build a business that is in totally honoring of you and nourishes all of you, because you are building it from peace, not from pressure. And you start to create a life where some kind of sense of life being wondrous and extraordinary starts to permeate everything that you're experiencing. Essentially, the ordinary become extraordinary. So that's my little ode on peace, and how peace really is, and freedom is the center of most of what we do and most of what we go after. And so rather than trying to arrange our lives and our businesses to create that sense of peace and freedom, the gift is really to have practices and have a way to actually unlock the peace that is always already here, the freedom that is always already here, and to root ourselves in it so that we can rise. So that we can rise, we can be big, we can do big things, we can receive big. So that's my spiel. In terms of a CTA, I'm not going to introduce myself. You probably know me. Well, now I started. So I'm Ilse. I'm a total spiritual nerd, which you probably saw in this video. I'm a dog mama. I'm a bookworm. I love to dance. I love to be out in nature. Professionally, for the last 20 years, I've been a psychotherapist, an expansion expert, a strategist. I work with leaders, business owners, practitioners, CEOs, and my work is really around rewiring ourselves to be cued for peace and profits. So yes, my work is a lot around money and expansion and visibility and impact, but really the shadow, the hidden part of my work, it's really about peace. So if you would love to dive in deeper into this, then I would love to work with you. In my work, we mix and marry the neurology, identity work, strategy to essentially shift your current set point to create a completely new experience within you, within your life, within your relationships, within your leadership, your business, and of course, in your ability to make and hold money. What you can expect from this work is you can expect to be able to tame the chaos and become still and spacious in any storm, the eye of the hurricane, whether that storm is an internal storm, like you're having something happening on the inside, or whether that storm is external, something's going on in your life, in your business. You can expect from this work to be able to break through invisible barriers that have been keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you hiding out, and silent and keeping your income capped, you can expect from this work to be able to move past all the sabotage, all the patterns that are keeping you from achieving the potential that is possible for you, and to essentially effortlessly start to take aligned action so that you can create steady, consistent, reliable results. And then you can expect to create higher revenue from this place of increased capacity and calm confidence, which, let's be honest, who doesn't want that shit, right? So the way to get started, if any of this calls to you, is I always start with a 90-minute one-on-one intensive with me. I call it Wired for Wealth. It's for new clients, it's at 55% off. And in this intensive, we essentially explore and kind of figure out what are the unique invisible barriers and wounds that you have in your nervous system, in your body, that are keeping you from moving forward, that are holding you back, that are keeping your results small. And then I actually teach you one of my most powerful processes and protocols that I invented, bringing all this work, my 20 years of experience, together. And this process will teach you how to come out of this place of overwhelm, contraction, heaviness, into a place of liberation and expansion, so that you can get back into motion, you can stay on track, you can essentially re-anchor yourself into that unwavering ground of peace and safety. So if that feels like something you want to experience, then please click the link in the description of this short live. I would love to work together and help you unlock the power of your nervous system and of your brain to create really peaceful growth, really consistent and reliable results, and deeply supportive money and revenue. All right, that's what I got for you. I hope this mini little teaching was helpful. I will be back on Thursday with a slightly more in-depth training, although it won't be very long either, on the truth about doing like healing money wounds and doing healing work around money from a nervous system perspective. All right, guys, talk to you then.